Alright. Not sure who's joined me, but if you'll give me just a second to get set up. But thanks for tuning in. Hello. How you doing today? Clout MSP. Thank you for joining me. Not expecting guests. This is my first... Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Have we met? Have we met before? I don't recognize that sign-on name. Maybe not so much. Well, now I have 2 people. That's 2 more people than I was expecting. This is actually my first live stream through YouTube. So this is going to be interesting to see how this goes. Just setting up. Expecting a bunch of people. Well, hopefully a few people in about 10 minutes or so. At least a couple. What I'm doing now is I am obviously taping the paper down in order to get ready. And today we are going to be re-rendering this wonderful work of art. There we go. Just need 2 corners. It's pretty exciting. Sweet. Okay, we're all set up. I put out a couple of announcements that we're going to start at, yeah, this is the latest and the greatest, Icebreaker by a 5th grader, Anna. Okay, so still got about 10 minutes, but I'm not just going to be sitting here. I just have to adjust this one lamp so that we're lit and ready to go. Okay, just get a little bit more light. Beautiful. Alrighty. And we are ready for action. Oh, I totally agree. It is a great detailed piece of artwork. Okay, so let's get this going. This is Icebreaker. Icebreaker is by Anna P. She's a 5th grader in Miss Harmon's class, and she has been very keen to get hers made. She did a great job. She did put in a lot of great detail. I'm always telling my students to put some detail in the background. Now I'm going to get started sketching here in a minute. I've got my pre-cut paper. This is a 2.5 by 3.5 piece of paper that's been blown up, enlarged, so that when I scan it in and get to work on it, it will be sized to a card. Now, my number 1 rule for all of you listening out there is everything is a shape. Everything's a shape. So I'm always start with the head. I see an oval and a square, and I promise myself to be limited to 15 minutes. So today, I'm actually giving myself a little bit more time since I'm starting early, but here we go. Oval for the cheeks and the head. I'm going to draw a line down the middle so that I have a visual cue of where the middle of the head is. Okay. Got ears. This one has kind of like a horned ear. Cool. And this one, it's got an interesting extra little piece to it. Okay. Great. I'm getting the impression that this is kind of a, to me it looks like a little bit of a goat creature. Okay. My circles, always drawing lightly. A couple of nostrils. I can already tell that the nose area that I've drawn might create a bit of a discrepancy. My goal is to render Icebreaker as faithfully to the original design as possible. I mentioned this on my last cast, which was it's important to me to make sure that no part of this looks like I made it up. I want to capture as many good details as possible. He's kind of got spread apart eyes. Okay, I'm gonna lower this. Get some good details going on. Okay. Nostrils. Because the nose part of the original creation is smaller than what I originally had it. And if you want to capture the look, where people can look at the original and then look at the professionally re-rendered one, they get an idea of, oh, okay, I see where those details came from. It's got to just look like it, just as though I aged the student, and they've had all the experiences I've had. All right, so I like this little curly Q hairdo here. It's pretty cool. Okay. Draw a light line down the middle of the snout so I can get an idea of where the middle of the mouth is. I still don't like these eyes, which is why we draw lightly. If we need to erase, no biggie. Push down too heavily, you get pencil ghosts, or at least that's what I call them. Haunting reminders of how you push down too hard with your pencil. And the body is at a diagonal angle here, so I'm going to capture that movement. It looks like the original character is moving from left to right. Give it a little neck, even though there's no neck in the original, just so I know where it is. And I like to draw these lines to represent the hips and the shoulders so that they line up. Circle representing those hip bones. Okay. Not sure what this... Oh, it's wings. So like a bat, it's got wings. I see. The tail. And it's holding something here, and it's holding something there. Let me capture that. And we gotta get those wings. So it looks like it comes down, and there's one line. Kind of goes like this way and then back. Something to that effect. And if you're noticing I'm using these circles, I'm going to erase these unnecessary construction lines so I can keep an eye on where the character is, make sure it's coming out the way I want it to, the way I think it should. Okay, and then we got to get this arm. And this arm's holding, I believe it's some kind of like ice crystal that's got some power to it. So let's go ahead and capture that. And I'm going to angle the arm a little bit upward because when I do this circle of power effect here, especially in the computer, as far as this construction is concerned, I want to make sure that you leave some room for that little piece of power there. Okay. Sweet. Okay, so we got the tail, we've got the arm. I like how this arm's bent, but I don't like how this one's straight, so I'm going to fix that. Let's go ahead and reconstruct. So I'm just going to draw a line that goes down, joint for the elbow, come up, and it'll give it a little bit more character if it bends at the wrist. Since that is another point of articulation on the body. Okay, good. I think that looks better. Okay. Make the creature, it looks like it's furry, it's hairy. Okay. It looks like there's a fur change down here, so I want to make sure I capture that. And I think I may have made these legs a little long. Just a little on the long side. And I'm going to make them a little thicker as well. Okay, alright. Awesome. Let's recapture this one over here. Angle it. And she put what looks like to me a little bit of foreshortening, which I like a lot. Foreshortening, of course, is when you make a piece of a body, or it can be an item like a building or something, and you deceive the eye by drawing it seemingly behind something else. And I really like that Anna did this in her work, so I'm going to go ahead and capture that little piece. Pretty cool. All right. That looks a little bit more like what she's got going on there. Now there are these, I'm not sure what these things are, but it's a design that separates the upper part of the leg from the rest, where she put in these cool little spots that I'll have to re-render and try to get those colors correctly in Photoshop later on when I digitally get this down. It goes even further up than that, I think, though. It's like right where the leg starts. Like probably there. That's probably going to be a little bit better. Constantly sketching, constantly erasing, and just plotting things before you really start applying. Definitely before you start applying ink. Cool. Awesome. All right. I'm going to give it more of a body shape. Kind of comes out a little bit. Make a fluid line that goes from the leg straight to the body. And then I can't forget the fact that this arm also has a wing. So let's get that. Okay. She's got these cool little accents on the end of her wing, so I want to get that. Make sure that's a part of it. It's always interesting to me what kids come up with and how their imaginations work. Like, what made her think to put that edge on the wing? It's very specific, and I love seeing that level of specificity, and it always launches my own imagination. That's why I love to do this. I always feel inspired and challenged. And if it wasn't for the fact that I did have a full-time job, being an elementary school art teacher, I would probably spend a lot more time being inventive and silly and making my own characters. But you know, happy to do this. And I think time is a matter of what you make time for, so I fully intend on making time to be a little bit artistically silly, creative. Great. All right. Clout MSP says that you go to Lock Hill. Fantastic. So you know exactly who I am. The way I have this camera set up, by the way, this camera is looking straight down, and because it's looking straight down, sometimes I can't see if somebody's sending me a message. So if you just send a message every once in a while, that'd be much appreciated so that I can see. Now let's talk about these toes down here. These toes, it might be a little hard to see. Let's check it out. But the toes, there's 3 toes, so we got to make sure we get that. There's all of these interesting little, what I might venture to call tattoos. We got to get those for sure. We've got the little hair piece, and then we're almost done with the character as it is, and then we're going to try to capture some of that background, that amazing background. There we go. If I lost you by accident, I guess what happened was my phone overheated somehow. I think I was trying to preserve the battery by charging it at the same time. I guess live and learn. Okay, so no phone overheating. No charging the battery while live streaming. Alright, so it looks like there's a rock up here. And the rock has 2 stripes. Here's 1. Here's 2. And what I like to do for making rock is making like little craggly cracks and things. Give it more of that rock shape. Cracks and pebbles and things like that. Help it give it the look of a rock. The shading also helps too. Okay, great. Let's get the left side. Okay, this looks like maybe some kind of pillar of ice. And it's got a couple different shades on it, which is pretty cool. I'm glad that Anna thought to do that. Awesome. We're going to do this side as well. Okay, and she's got this cool indentation here, which I'm going to emphasize with these lines going this way. Awesome. And she's got a nice horizon line up here. This little creature peeking over the top. This thing's got to come up higher. And a tree. Tree looks like it's got snow. And a little bit of a snow puff up here. And there's a sun in the background. Did a really great job with this. Okay, I can't forget that little guy back here. I don't know what he's doing, but... he's got an ear kind of going this way. And then one ear going up. Like he's checking it out. What are you doing over here? What are you doing over here? Okay. And there's a little pebble on top. Okay, and I think I captured most of it. There's this thing here, which is some kind of, gotta do a circle for the power. And there's this thing in the background that looks like maybe a tree from far away or some kind of stick or twig. So we'll put that in. It's got a leaf. And I think that's all she wrote. All right, so lessons learned. Do not charge your iPhone while you're filming. Make sure you get it's called proportionality, big word, correct. Beautiful. And there you have it. Sketch done. What do you think? Now it's time to scan this and put it in the computer and begin rendering. Thanks for your time. This has been Mr. Guera Live, episode number 2, Icebreaker. Later.